Welcome to the solution video about the Fellowmind Business Control Tower. My name is Martijn van den Heuvel. I am a business consultant.
My name is Ruud Schiepens, pre-sales consultant.
So, the Business Control Tower, Ruud, what is it and what do we use it for?
Yes, BCT, Business Control Tower. This is a Power BI solution in which we actually created a complete data warehouse. And on top of that, we developed all kinds of standard reporting for all kinds of companies in the various industries.
Well, that already sounds great. So, yeah, what do we connect to?
Yes, it's built on the Azure Microsoft Cloud platform. We connect to Dynamics Finance and Operations, but the tool and Microsoft also offers that as standard connects to all kinds of connectors, more than 1,000 for all kinds of other applications. Think of a MES system or your HRM system. So it's not just the ERP data from Dynamics, but you can connect to loads of the applications to this tool as well.
Okay, great. So then we have it connected. And then something needs to be shown. Can you take us through that? How does that work?
Yes, the point actually is that often that huge pile of data and the complexity, which often lies in collecting that data. So what data do we need to pull together to finally get insight? We've done all of that preliminary work. So we've created that data warehouse. So there's actually that intelligence of those processes, the intelligence of Dynamics 365. We've combined all of HAT and we've merged it in that data warehouse. And in addition to that, we have created some great dashboards in which we've already done that preliminary work as well by already making that presentation.
Yes, so then you've got the data ready to use, so to speak. The presentation is also ready, and then you just have to start using it.
Yes, that's right. And what we also often see in practice is that that is used as a basis to develop further reports. So in that sense, the ready-to-use reports can be used, but client-specific information and changes can be added as well, of course.
Yes, so customization is possible. And how many standard reports are available?
Already more than 30 at the moment, I believe, but that's the great thing about this kind of product from Fellowmind, that we keep on developing. So all of those data warehouse sets are being expanded all the time, but also the reports are being expanded. So probably when I say this, I should say maybe 35 or 40 already, but that development is definitely there.
Yes. And of course, that's because of the technical development on the back end. So it becomes easier, increasingly easier to gather and analyze the data. Then just think for a moment. And then it's a matter of adjusting the dashboards appropriately. And then you also have the latest information available again. It's always real-time information.
Yes, definitely. That's constantly real-time. Well, Microsoft doesn't call it real-time because there's, I think, a little lag there. But yes, we see that as real-time, pretty much real-time.
Well, that seems convenient. So we collected the data and you say those dashboards are all done. That's nice. Then you have information. But what do you do with that information? What do you use it for?
Well, you use that information to do your daily, weekly, and monthly management of your organization. Because the bottom line is, if you don't have that information, what are you basing your decisions on? On disinformation, missing information. Sometimes you know you have blind spots in your organization or in your data. But is that really the case? Well, with this kind of reporting, you can get that insight and make sure that you have correct, up-to-date information available.
And with that, you make companies manageable.
Certainly, yes, you're absolutely right.
Then I can imagine that there are more solutions on the market. That data warehouse is not very new, is not ours either. I would say anyone can use that, create reports too. So why use Fellowmind's solution for that?
Well, we have years of experience with the application, but certainly also with the processes that are there. So I think that combination is unique, yes, and additionally, it's an Azure product, so it's in the cloud. We facilitate that infrastructure through this solution. So it also manages that environment. It's all a bit technical, but bottom line is that security is also taken care of.
Oh, yes, nice. I happen to know a bit about that.
So I've heard, yes.
I've read a bit about that. But so then we can use our Security Operations Center and consignment service and everything that ties directly into that.
Yes, definitely.
That way also keep data and access secure.
Yes.
Well, sounds all good and progressive, Ruud. Can you show some?
Sure. The first example that I want to show, so this is an example of one of the standard reports that are included in our Business Control Tower. That's the product variance report. So basically a difference between your calculation and your post-calculation. So in the header, for example, you see some information, a percentage. So the variance at the top from 10 to 15% has been entered here, for example. So what information do I want to see here that is within a certain deviation? Do I want to see in the report? That's what I actually meant to say. You can also apply all kinds of filters. So a certain production pool, so you can filter by a certain department, a particular mold department or a wood department. So that way, every operator or manager can be able to find it for his own department. And then you have the information. Well, a great example of information that you see is that you can see not only the closed production orders, but also the finished production orders reported. Well, people who use Dynamics 365, they will recognize it. So with that, it's very nice to possibly update your people that there's an error in your cost price of your finished product that you are currently producing before you start finalizing or closing your order. So you have insight to change things before completing everything. Because yes, correcting things afterwards is often much more time intensive than being able to catch it in your process. Well, what you also see here at the top in the 4 white blocks is more information. The period, for example, the total number of variances, for example, per month, or the variances expressed by a certain amount with also the allowed costs and the realized costs per month or per year. Well, in addition, you have the graphs here where you see information, again, the variances per period or variances, different numbers, and also the per period or how much the amount is, what variances took place there, for example. At the bottom right, you can also see a variance, or rather a breakdown of the variance. Is it the hours or price or quantities, or were substitute items used in certain production orders? And at the bottom left in the details, you can see some more information about, for example, that production pool, for example, or the department as I just mentioned it, but also what is allowed, so what was calculated up front and what are the actuals afterwards. And also you can zoom into all kinds of details here, so then you can get the details if there is a need for that.
Ruud, most of this information is also already in Dynamics 365. Why wouldn't you use that information there?
Yes, legitimate question. Well, what you see here is that this information is bundled into one screen. That information is often scattered in Dynamics 365 across different entities. Well, we have centralized that nicely, and we also have the possibility to add information from a MES system, for example. So even information from your manufacturing execution system can be added in there as well if you want.
It's richer information from more sources.
Of course, right. Well, so that is the report we have of product variances. Another example that we have is a warehouse management report. Well, here have a very nice operational report to have a good oversight of your warehouse management processes. So can we still get it finished in terms of picking processes, in terms of put processes, in terms of replenishment, inventory counts? Well, are we still on schedule? Are we behind? Where do we need to additional people? Do we need to move people from one department to another to get the work done? Well, you have very nice insight into that here. In the header at the top, you have a nice workload overview showing how much work they have to do, how much has already been done, translated into hours spent and also hours remaining, but also, for example, the number of loads, so the number of trucks, what has been done and what is still remaining. Well, in the charts in today's work, for example, you can see the work divided by process. So as I just said, the sales picking process, production process, movements, so from stock or from external warehouses, counts that are taking place. Well, there you see a nice difference between what's remaining or what's already done, but also what the target is. So how long should something take and how long it takes on average or that it actually took. Well, then you also have the truckload status. So on the right side is the number of loads per status. And then you can also, again, for example, zoom in on certain process. So if I'm going to look at the number of loads that are in a certain phase, I can continue to zoom in with the number of remaining truckloads that change through the day and what I've already done or what still needs to be done. So that way I can also continue to see what I need to do for a particular carrier or whether I can contact them because the work is taking longer or not. So that's our warehouse management report. The last example I want to show is the purchase price difference report. So this gives a very nice view of purchase price differences, an often heard problem with customers. So differences in amounts, but also which items are related to it and with which suppliers do I have that problem more often than I would like. Well, In the header again, you see some key figures, so the numbers per month or per year. How often did I have a number of times zero price, something that is also not common, but also totals and a number of purchase price differences, but also the difference between price differences when received as when booked or invoiced, so you can also break that difference down. So when booking the invoice is obviously different from the receipt booking, we've broken that down as well. Then we can also break that down by supplier, by item, or by item group. You can see that a little bit more at the bottom left here, so you can do a breakdown in that as well. Do I have certain suppliers that I have more problems with, or is with certain item types where I have more price differences? So you can see that as well. Then you can also see price differences in euros, which can also be filtered by supplier as well as by item. On the right side, you have another nice graph. It shows the price differences over time with the total value of the purchase price differences. So you have also included that as a graph, and you can actually use this report very quickly to get insight into certain purchase price differences for certain articles or suppliers and what the value of that is.
Ruud, it seems to me that this example actually represents the information that is also directly available in F&PO. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. The great thing is, of course, with the Business Control Tower, we display that information in one place, so you don't have to switch applications. You have this as your dashboard. This is where you find all this information that's combined from all these different entities. And in this particular example, we're looking at ERP data, so data from Dynamics 365. But we also have examples and data sets for customer engagement, so where you can look at your CRM data or combined data filled in some other way. Well, this was the end of a short demo of our Business Control Tower solution.
Great explanation, Ruud. Thank you very much. Just a little recap for our audience.
Yes, seems right. Business Control Tower is a very complete and very powerful BI solution on the Dynamics 365 platform with a complete out-of-the-box data warehouse. The solution is applicable in any industry and can be used by your own employees, so they can be trained in a short time to create their own reports and start using the same reports. As mentioned, our BI solution is an out-of-the-box solution and quick to implement. This is also partly due to the very mature implementation methodology that we have, applied to the whole BI solution also within our projects. It can be used by both large and small organizations. And yes, in addition to that, our Business Control Tower solution is delivered with all kinds of standard data sets. So where we as Fellowmind have already done a lot of preparations or actually have already done nearly all the work. So it contains more beyond those standard data sets, also more than 30 standard reports, which will actually lead to very quick insights and results. You can get started right away. You have instant insight in your organization and the performance of your organization. All of the reports and dashboards will give you instant visibility into how things are going, and by analyzing this, you can take immediate action, make improvements, and you can actually continuously improve your organization.
Do you want to know more about the Business Control Tower? Please contact us. Ruud, what's the easiest way to do that?
Yes. What's the best way these days? Call us, email us, I think. It's all possible. But contact us, and we will send you the information again, or I could visit you and tell you in person.
And see how it can then provide a solution for you to organize things more efficiently and better, and give some more direction to your organization. Well, Ruud, thank you very much again for this time.
You're welcome.
Hope to see you next time. Bye.